Hey guys, today we are going to discuss about update and delete operations in SQL. There are certain scenarios where we need to update the existing record in a database table. For these kind of operations, we use update. Let's look at the syntax of update operation. Here are the one. So if you look at here, update table name, set the name of the column for which we want to update the value and the corresponding value what we want to update for that column. Let's look at one practical example and understand more about the update operations. So here we are in our SQL developer. Let's look at what are the records we have in our employee table. So we have total 3 records: Smith, Lillen and Ward, and their salaries are 90,000, null 1,25,000. Let's go ahead and use the update statement to update the salary as 1 lakh. To do so, we will use update table name, set the column name which we want to update. In our case, it is salary. Let's make the salary as 1 lakh. Let's run this. So if you notice here, all 3 records has been updated, right? And the salary for each employee has become 1 lakh rupees. In real-time scenarios, this won't be a practical to update the particular column using an update statement without using the where clause. Okay, if you're not using the where clause, it will update the column for all the records available in the table. So it is always a good practice to use the where clause along with the update statement to update only specific records in the table. Now let's look at the syntax of updating the records in the table with where clause. So here's the syntax to update the record in our table with where clause. It is update table name, set the name of the field which we want to update and the value which we want to update for that field, where the field name and the corresponding value, right? Let's look at one more practical example with where clause to update the specific records in the table. So here we are in our SQL developer. Let's update the salary of the employee Lillian from 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh or 1,50,000, right? So do so, we will update the table employee. We will set the salary as 1,50,000 where employee ID is equal to 7499. Once we apply this where clause, it will make sure that only this particular record will be updated and rest of the records will remain same. So let's select this query and run it. If you notice here, one row has been updated. Now let's use select statement to look at the changes. So here we go. For the employee Lenin, the salary has been updated to 1,50,000. This is how we update only specific record in a table. We can also update multiple columns using a single update statement. Let's look at one example to update multiple columns using a single update statement. We will update the salary of the employee Ward from 1 lakh to 1,25,000 and the job as manager from salesman. So we have a query update table which is employee set salary is equal to 1,25,000 comma another column named job as manager. If we want to update the multiple columns using an update statement, we just need to declare the column name and the corresponding value using a comma separator. And then we will apply where clause on employee ID 7521 to make sure we only update the record for Ward and remaining two records gets unaffected. So let's select this and run this query. If you notice here, we have a log that one row has been updated. Let's use the select star from employee query to see the changes. If you notice here, Ward has been updated with job as manager and salary as 1,25,000. This is how we can use update statement for multiple updates of the records inside the table. Now let's look at the delete operations in Oracle SQL. When we need to delete some or all of the records from the table, we use delete operations. So here is the syntax of deleting the records from the table, which is delete from table name, which will delete all the records from the table. But if we want to delete only specific records from the table, we need to use the where clause like we did in case of update operations. So here's the syntax to remove only specific rows from the table, right, which is delete from table name where condition. So whatever the condition you will specify in where clause, only those records will get deleted from the table. Remaining records will not be affected. So let's switch to SQL Developer and see some practical examples to delete the specific records and all the records from the table. So here we are in our SQL Developer. Let's look at how many records are there in our employee table. So total 3 records we have in our employee table. Let's go ahead and use the delete operation without using the where clause, which will delete all the records from the table. To do so, we will use delete from table name. right? So once we run this query, we'll get the output as 3 rows has been deleted. Now, if you go and look at the data inside our employee table, we will have nothing. Since we have deleted all the records from the table, I have inserted back some of the records in the table to understand more about the delete operations. So if you look at the employee table now, we have 7 records available in the table, and this time we will try to delete only specific records from the table. To do so, we need to perform the where clause along with the delete operation. So let's go ahead and prepare a query for deleting only specific records from employee table. So here we are, delete from employee where ename is equal to Smith. So we want to delete the record where the employee name is Smith. So if you notice here, out of these 7 records, there's only one record with employee ID 7369 whose name is Smith, and only one record should get deleted when we perform this operation. So let's select this query and run it. One row has been deleted. Now if we go and check the data inside our employee table, we have no more record available with the name Smith. Let's go ahead and delete one more employee's record whose name is John. So we will delete from employee where employee name is equal to John's. So if you look at here, we have 2 records with the employee name John's, and while we run this operation, these 2 records should get deleted and only 4 records should be remained in our employee table. So let's select this query and run it. So if you notice here, we have got the log as 2 records has been deleted. Now go and use the select star from employee query to look at the records in our table. If you notice here, we are only left with 4 records in our table. So always remember, while you perform the update or delete operation, always use the where clause along with them. If you are not using where clause with delete or update operations, it will update or delete all the data from the table, which is not actually a real-time scenario. Okay, that's it for this lecture. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you.